regards to my views with regards to protecting a woman's right to choose. And I've been very clear on that. I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose, and am devoted and dedicated to honoring my word in that regard. I will not change any provisions of Massachusetts' pro-choice laws. No, I want the voters to know exactly where I'm going to stand as governor, and that is I am not going to change our pro-choice laws in Massachusetts in any way. I will preserve them, I will protect them, I will enforce them, and therefore I'm not going to make any changes which would make it more difficult for a woman to make that choice herself. Any response?
Mitt Romney isn't pro-choice, he's not anti-choice, he's multiple choice.
I believe that abortion should be safe and legal in this country. I have since the time that my mom took that position when she ran in 1970 as a U.S. Senate candidate. I believe that since Roe v. Wade has been the law for 20 years, that we should sustain and support it. And I sustain and support that law and the right of a woman to make that choice. Look, I was an independent during the time of Reagan-Bush. I'm not trying to return to Reagan-Bush. My positions don't talk about things that you suggest they talk about. This isn't a political issue. I believe that public companies and federal agencies should be required to report in their annual 10K the number of minorities and women by income group within the company, so we can identify where the glass ceiling is and break through it.
Do you believe that there should be a timetable in withdrawing the troops?
Well, there's no question but that the President and Prime Minister al-Maliki have to have a series of timetables and milestones that they speak about.
I believe the world is getting warmer. I can't prove that, but I believe, based on what I read, that the world is getting warmer. And number two, I believe that humans contribute to that. I don't know how much our contribution is to that, because I know there have been periods of greater heat and warmth in the past, but I believe that we contribute to that. And so I think it's important for us to reduce our emissions of pollutants and greenhouse gases that may well be significant contributors to the climate change and the global warming that you're seeing.
He's talking about a $750 billion economic stimulus package. He wants it to be passed as soon as possible. It's unclear whether it can be passed before he's inaugurated on January 20th. What do you think about this proposal?
Well, I frankly wish that the last Congress would have dealt with the stimulus issue and that the President could have signed that before leaving office. I think there is need for economic stimulus. Americans have lost about $11 trillion in net worth. That translates into about $400 billion a year less spending that they'll be doing, and that's net of additional government programs like Medicaid and unemployment insurance. And government can help make that up in a very difficult time, and that's one of the reasons why I think a stimulus program is needed.
Reaction now from former presidential candidate and former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. Tim Geithner's argument and Mr. Bernanke's argument has been, if we didn't do that then, we would have been in a free-fall meltdown. Do you agree with that?
Well, first of all, if the money's being paid back, which it is, we didn't waste a lot of money right then. That was an investment made to try and keep a collapse of our entire financial system from occurring. And I think that's the case. I think had President Bush and Secretary Paulson and Ben Bernanke not pushed for a TARP-type program, we were going to be in a free fall that would cause the collapse of not just a few banks in Wall Street, but banks all over the country, killing not only a few jobs, but all the jobs in this country. That's what we were facing, and the TARP program kept that from occurring. TARP got paid back, and it kept the financial system from collapsing.
So you feel it was well worth it?
Well, it was the right thing to do.
Would you agree with Thomas Jefferson that the strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves from tyranny and government?
I don't know that that's highly relevant today, but certainly that's a legal reason for being able to keep a firearm, and I believe that people ought to be able to have a firearm to protect themselves. I believe in the Second Amendment.
In that case, why did you vote in favor of the Brady Bill and the assault weapons ban?
I didn't actually vote.
I beg your pardon, why did you support them? You have come out publicly saying that you supported the assault weapons ban in the Brady bill.
Yeah, and will you give the microphone back to the guy? How many more questions you got?
Yeah, my final question, if you don't understand the intent of the Constitution, how can you be trusted to defend it? And who will defend it from you?
Okay, thank you. Let me answer the question. And that is that with regards to the assault weapon ban in Massachusetts, that we had come forward, which is an extension of the assault weapon ban.
We do have tough gun laws in Massachusetts. I support them. I won't chip away at them. I believe they help protect us and provide for our safety.
Let me bring you back once again to the question of immigration.
There's a lot of negotiation that's going to have to take place and give and take on issues of that nature. For me, the central issue is that people who are here illegally should not be prohibited, should be able to apply for permanent residency or citizenship. That should not be prohibited.
Governor Deval Patrick is asking the feds for $450 million to bail out Massachusetts universal health care now. They say they can't meet their expenses unless the feds, and that means people in Idaho are paying for Bay Staters to get health care. Is that wrong?
No, actually from the very beginning, the plan was a 50-50 deal between the federal government and the state government.
Okay, so the feds fund half of it.
The feds fund half of it. They have from the very beginning.
In Massachusetts, since the health care has been signed into law, emergency rooms costs have risen 17% in the last 2 years. So the myth, and I think it's a myth, that this emergency thing will go down when you have Obamacare, it's not proven in Massachusetts. Emergency room things are up.
Well, I'll look at the emergency room numbers.
Okay, look, I'm not here to do a gotcha with you, but there's another stat that's fascinating as well. Massachusetts has the highest per capita health care costs in the union, in the nation.
And it did before the bill was passed, too.
But isn't it supposed to bring the costs down?
No.
What
the bill did.
You know me, I'm a simple man, okay?
Yeah,
you say you solve the problem in the state, but you're depending on 50% of your funding from the feds.
As we did from the beginning.
Okay, I'm just telling you, I don't know if you solved the problem or the people in Idaho solved it.
Health care costs in Massachusetts were high before the bill that got people insured, and they're high afterwards.
They're the highest.
They were the highest before, and they're the highest afterwards.
But it didn't bring them down.
No, it did not bring them down.
Right.
Analysts say Romney Care is basically Obamacare minus the public option.
If the president drops the public option, will you come out and support him?
Well, it depends on what's in the rest of the bill.
Back in 2009, when we asked the former governor about that mandate, he defended it.
But it is a mandate.
It's a kind of mandate. It's a requirement. In order to get a tax exemption that you'd normally get, you got to have health insurance because we want everybody in the system. No more free riders.
Democrats already have clips like that queued up for 2012.
The Romney system has mandates in Massachusetts, although you've backed away from mandates on a national basis.
No, I like mandates. The mandates work.
Beg your
pardon?
I didn't
know you were going to admit
that. No, absolutely.
You like mandates.
Let me tell you what kind of mandates I like, Fred, which is this.
The ones you come up with.
I agree with Mitt Romney, who recently said he's proud of what he accomplished on health care in Massachusetts.